Hello, and welcome to the Queuing It Up podcast, where we talk all things Lexington that improve your quality of life. This podcast is presented and produced by the City of Lexington government. I'm your host, Johnny Taylor, the City Manager for the City of Lexington in North Carolina. Some episodes of Queuing It Up include discussions with community leaders about what's happening in Lexington, while other episodes feature City of Lexington employees providing educational opportunities with valuable information about city services. Thanks for joining us, and let's get today's episode started. Hello, and welcome to Queuing It Up. I'm Johnny Taylor, City Manager of the City of Lexington in North Carolina, and today I have a special guest with me today, and his name is Michael Tofano, and we know him as Chief Michael Tofano, and he started working with the City of Lexington Fire Department on June 7th, 2021 as the Deputy Fire Chief. He was promoted to the Fire Chief in Lexington on November 12th, 2024. Before that, Chief Tofano worked for the City of Altoona Fire Department from March 1999 to June 2021. He worked his way up through the ranks with the Altoona Fire Department as the Deputy Chief before returning home to Davidson County. Chief Tofano graduated from North Davidson High School and went on to receive his bachelor's degree in political science from Carson Newman University. He also received a master's degree in public administration from Liberty University. In 2019, Chief Tofano graduated from the Executive Fire Officer Program at the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland. Chief Tofano also belongs to the International Association of Fire Chiefs and the North Carolina Association of Fire Chiefs. Chief Tofano has received numerous nationally recognized certifications, including Fire Officer 4, Fire Instructor 2, Hazardous Materials Technician, and several Technical Rescue certifications. Welcome, Chief Tofano, to Queuing It Up.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for being here today with us on Queuing It Up. Glad to have you here. And I'd like to say to you at the beginning that we're most grateful for the service that all of you provide to our community to keep us safe.
I certainly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well, we're going to get right into the questions.
Right.
As a veteran in the fire service, could you tell me what is most fulfilling about being a part of the Lexington Fire Department?
Well, for me, the part of the fire service that I enjoy the most is just being able to be there and help folks, even when they're having a tough time. I mean, usually when we encounter them, they're having maybe one of the worst days of their life. And the opportunity to be able to help them and even save their life is something that I really do enjoy. For me, Lexington Fire Department specifically, there's a couple of things that I think I'm really proud of with it. We have really worked hard to develop an excellent work environment. One of our newest hires that we just had, in a conversation with her, she said, on day one, I felt welcomed here. I was proud about that. I think that is something that I really like about being here. It's a fulfilling job. One of the things that I recognized early on in my career is that you don't get to do the same thing every day. You can come to work, there's going to be something different that you're going to encounter in the day, and I enjoy that. I like that. I think a lot of people enjoy that about the job. The other part of it that is fulfilling for me is that on day one, when you walk through the door, you're part of a team. I mean, we don't do anything by ourselves. So everything is in a crew, you're a part of the team. Even when you move up and you get all the way to the level of fire chief, you're still a part of the team. You just have a different role on the team. So all of those things for me is particularly enjoying within the fire service.
That sounds good. Not having been a firefighter ever in my career, I just spending some time with the fire department, the members of the fire department, I have seen that teamwork and that camaraderie, right. And it's really a good feeling, and it's obvious that everybody there is committed to making sure that our community is safe, and it's just a wonderful situation, in my opinion.
It definitely is, and we don't spend all of our time going on calls. We do spend a lot of time training, preparing for calls, things like that. But there's also time where you have a chance to have a meal with the people that you work with. It feels like a family type environment, which is, I think, appealing to a lot of folks about this career.
Yes. I also want to ask you about some of the services that the fire service provides to the community. What should residents take advantage of?
Well, of course, the primary service that we provide is protecting the city from fire and rescue. We provide some EMS services. Or if you're having a significant medical emergency, we're able to be there and help with that. Some of the options that residents have that we're able to provide that aren't in line with emergency service, one of the big ones that a lot of residents may not know about is if you're a resident of the city of Lexington, you can contact us and we may be able to come out and install smoke alarms or carbon monoxide alarms if you don't have one. And even if you do have them, we can come and check them and make sure they're working properly so that you can stay safe in that regard. Another option that we have, another service that folks could take advantage of, is a lot of our fire prevention and public education programming. We have a lot of folks that will come by and take a tour of the station. When you take a tour of the station, kids definitely love to see the fire trucks, and we show them all of that. We show them what it's like to be living in a station. But then there's also a fire safety discussion that happens along with that. And I would say one of the last things that a citizen of Lexington can take advantage of, if they would like, is we'll come out to their house and do a fire safety evaluation. It's your home. We're not going to have any violations or anything like that. We're literally there just to help evaluate your home and say, well, maybe you want to consider these other options in your house.
That's great. I really enjoy the use of technology in every area of what all of the city services can actually provide to our residents. And recently, the fire department rolled out Community Connect, and that's a platform that all of our residents should be aware of. So tell us about Community Connect.
Well, I'm particularly excited about Community Connect. It is an opportunity for us to learn about the residents, the private residents in the city. And when I say learn about them, there are things that folks may want to communicate to us if we're coming to your house. For instance, one of the most important things that a lot of people want to share with us is about their pets. They have time to get out themselves, but they may not have time to find all their pets. And you can input that into Community Connect. So what it really is it's an interface that you can log in and give us your information. And when we're going to a call, it pops up on our screen. One of the important things to share, though, is that information is private. It's guarded within our software, and there's a very limited amount of folks that can access it at any time. Otherwise, the responders will see it in an emergency on their way. So I would definitely encourage the citizens to interact with that. And in the future, it's going to be able to, you're going to be able to request a smoke alarm, things like that through that software.
That's great. All of those that are listening or watching, please follow the request made by Chief Tofano. If you're in this community, you need to be a part of Community Connect.
And I will tell you, the easiest way to sign up is there is a link right on the fire department's page. You can go there, click. It's a very easy sign-up process, and you can answer only the questions that you feel are important to you. You don't have to answer the long list of questions that they might have. You can just put in what's important to you or what you would like us to know if we're on your way to your house in an emergency.
Okay. Let's talk about something known as ISO ratings. Could you talk a little bit about that so that our listeners, our viewers, can get a general understanding of what that is?
So, in a very simple term, an ISO rating is essentially It's not just isolated to fire departments, but in this particular case, it's called the Insurance Services Organization. They come in and they rate your department on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the best rating, 10 being the worst rating. And those ratings have impact on folks' fire insurance, both residents and commercial properties. So, of course, fire departments are always wanting to improve that rating and make it better so that the fire insurance rates for the citizens of that town continue to decrease.
So the higher the rating, the better it is for our community.
Of course, and it also shows the quality of fire service that is able to be provided. So currently, Lexington is an ISO Class 2. We are always striving to get better at what we do. We are working toward that Class 1 rating, which would mean that we're providing the highest quality fire service that you can provide, that you can receive anywhere. There are not that many Class 1 fire departments in North Carolina or the United States. So working toward that accomplishment and achieving that accomplishment in the future would be something that we would be certainly very proud of.
Well, Chief, you definitely have my support. We're behind you all the way, and I'm getting excited because I think that we're going to get there.
I feel like we are too. Some of the things that they evaluate when they come in that I'm really proud of is the amount of training that a department does. Last year, we performed almost 14,000 hours of training. So we're consistently trying to prepare ourselves to be the best that we can be and deliver the best fire service we can.
That's great. Before we get to the last question, I want to ask you about your podcast. And I'm a big advocate for getting out information, utilizing all the tools that are before us. And you have something called the Fire Marshal Files. So can you talk a little bit about that podcast?
Yes, sure. The fire department has 2 different branches to it. The fire suppression side, which goes out and obviously delivers the emergency service, but there's also a part that's the fire prevention, the fire marshal's office. Their focus is to make sure that they prevent fires. That's the goal of the fire marshal's fire prevention division. So the goal of the Fire Marshal Files podcast is to provide folks ways that they can become more fire safe and help prevent fires so that they don't ever start to begin with.
Well, I'm looking forward to those podcasts, and hopefully we can build a quite impressive library of information for individuals to plug into.
Absolutely.
I'd like to touch something that perhaps residents may not be aware of. They see these shiny fire trucks and they look immaculate, but they may not know about the age of some of the fire trucks before they actually get replaced. And then tell us a little bit about that process and even the time period that it takes for us to turn around to get a new truck.
Well, if you had asked me that question 5 or 6 years ago, I would have told you it takes about a year from the time that you order a fire truck to the time that it arrives. But now it's more along the lines of 3 to 4 years. So when we have a fleet that is aging, our oldest truck right now is 31 years old. It's in use today. We have to anticipate those needs far into the future. If we were to start the process of ordering a fire truck today, by the time that it was ordered, it wouldn't be arriving until at the earliest 2028. So that has presented a challenge to forecast those needs farther into the future and not just look at it today and say, well, in a year, in 6 months, we need a fire truck. We have to look a lot further, and your fleet continues to age the entire time that that you even have a truck on order. So it is definitely a challenge in this post-COVID supply chain environment that we have.
So, Chief, you've told us a little bit about the procurement process, but I'm sure that most individuals here don't realize just how much a fire truck may cost. So could you give us an idea?
Well, again, if you'd asked me that question 5 or 6 years ago, I would have told you that what we would call a fire engine, a fire pumper, the typical fire truck that you recognize, would have cost about $500,000. Today, that same exact fire truck costs about $1.1 million. 5 years ago, a ladder truck with the 100-foot aerial on the top would have cost right at about $1 million. Today, we're looking at $2.2 to $2.4 million for a fire apparatus, and it is just a simple factor of how expensive a lot of the items that have to go into them cost, and that does not include the equipment that is on them. That is literally just purchasing the truck. So it is not only are the time frames extended, but we also have to consider all of the budgetary requirements for that as well.
Very good. So I'm going to move to the final question.
All right.
And this is a question that I ask to everybody who's here. 10 years from now, what does firefighting look like?
10 years from now, I foresee the Lexington Fire Department service and personnel growing to meet the needs of a growing city. I mean, Lexington is growing. We know that, and it's exciting that it's growing. Part of that growth process, though, is to make sure that we're still able to provide the quality service that all of the citizens of Lexington need, even if it's in a new part of town. So in 10 years, I foresee our department not being distributed the same way it is right now, with stations in different locations, simply out of necessity. And just like our fire engines, our fire stations are also getting older, and we have one that's over 60 years old right now. So it was pretty easy to see where you're used to the fire station being in your neighborhood. It may not be exactly in that same spot in 10 years from now. I also foresee us adapting our service delivery to meet the needs of a new and growing town as well. We always will provide the traditional services that is expected of fire departments, but there may be something 10 years from now that is needed from us that we don't currently provide. And that's something that I'm always excited to look at, is how can we change and adapt what we provide to the citizens of Lexington so that they're receiving the highest quality services that they can.
Well, Chief, we already have a good present situation, and it sounds like we're going to have an even greater future. So I'm excited about it, and I want to thank you again for taking time to be here with us. And just know that we're supporting you and all of our firefighters, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that they have the tools in order to provide us a safe and prosperous community.
Well, I appreciate it very much, and I certainly appreciate the support of yourself, City Council, and the citizens of Lexington.
Thank you for being here on Queuing It Up, and I'm sure we'll be back together again. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Queuing It Up. If you got some value by listening to this episode, please subscribe and leave a review on the platform you're listening to this episode on. You can also follow us on social media at City of Lexington for updates on future episodes. For more information on the City of Lexington, please visit www.lexingtonnc.gov. We'll see you on the next episode.